major ice rollout that's
You know,
got.
they've got to meet their quota. If they're, you know, like, how do they meet their quota when they roll into an all-white neighborhood? I don't know.
I'm surprised we haven't seen more of it here in Oberlin, being a college town. There's a lot of Chinese students. There's a lot of, you know, especially like the music, the
Going
conservatory.
after, they're not
A
going
lot
after,
of students, you know.
they're not
They
going
went after a Chinese immigrant violin professor in Utah, I believe it was. He had a DUI from 10 years ago, a misdemeanor DUI, and they took him in and put him in one of those concentration camps. And because he was a professor, he had all these friends, law students were on his side, and they raised thousands and thousands of dollars for him and got him out of detention. But he was in detention for months before people got him out of there. And he was completely legal. He had a green card. He'd been in the country for like, I don't know, 15 years. He was married to an American citizen, had a couple of children who were American. He'd been teaching there, where, universities are pretty strict about proving your eligibility to work there. He had done everything right.
Shush.
And he was Chinese or maybe Korean. I don't know. I think he was Chinese. So, but that was like Utah. Like, they were so desperate to meet their quota, they would take in a Chinese violinist.
If he's illegal, what difference does it make?
over the past several months. They have they have bought countless unused buildings throughout the country. So there's supposed to be you're going to see a massive increase over the next year as they scale up operations.
Well, Hitler didn't start with the Jews. He started with euthanizing babies with Down syndrome. And then, we went step by step, mission creep, as he purified the people. So, yeah, just because they're starting with the criminals.
Are you seriously equating what's happening right now with Nazi Germany?
Absolutely. I'm a history buff.
Give me a break. Come on.
I'm a history buff. In the 1930s, all these things
The fact that you can have another No King's Day, which is coming in March, right? Doesn't that say something? I mean, would a fascist leader do that? Would he stop that?
Against Hitler in the 1930s. But the pressure over time, a lot of them, like the intellectuals, came to the United States. People escaped.
People kept to themselves, right? If they didn't like what was going on.
No, they were speaking out. People who were speaking out got repressed, or they left. They lost their jobs.
There was a lot of Germans who just laid low and kept their mouths shut.
But a lot of them, they spoke out, and then they got fired from their jobs, and then they came to the United States and got jobs in, physics and music. I know all the because I'm a musician, so I know a lot of composers who ended up here. Super famous composers, who basically spent the rest of their lives here because of what happened in 1938. So, yeah, we're on that path, but we're not going to get to the final solution probably, because we still have some of it in place, but some of what they're doing is right out of the playbook.
I lived in Germany for 2 years, and honestly, it is. I'm right up there. It's identical. It is identical. Now, yes, we won't have ovens and gas chambers and shit like that. That won't happen, or hopefully won't happen. But everything else, everything else, you've got
suppressing the universities.
You've got this
killing the universities, what they can teach.
Should our universities take the amount of money that they do from China? I'm sorry, I said, should our universities like Harvard accept primary donations and students from China? Isn't that reason to withhold money?
Everybody accepts students from China.
I'm saying that the majority of their curriculum is based around Chinese and students from overseas. That's
No,
that's off
no.
balance. Yes, it is. Check it. Look it up. And I'll tell you something else. It's insulting to me as German myself. I have a lot of knowledge about World War II history, and for people like you to denigrate it, it's insulting to people that suffered through a real tragedy, a real Holocaust, not this made up nonsense that you've convinced your head is the case.
But what was going on in 1933 is what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about
What was,
1940.
okay, what was going on? I don't know. You tell me.
1933, Hitler came to power through elections, and then he solidified his power and made himself the chancellor. They suppressed the universities from teaching anything that they did not approve of. The university professors lost their jobs, ended up in the United States and elsewhere. They started, like I said, euthanizing babies with deformities and with Down syndrome.
You've
because
got the brainwashed MAGA cult.
Aren't the Republicans the one against abortion?
Well, see, they're not necessarily
Yeah.
starting with all the exact same things, but the playbook is the mission creep, right? So they're not, so they started with the people they considered undesirable.
Right.
And the different people are considered undesirable, but they said, we're going to get rid of all the violent criminals, right? They started with violent criminals, supposedly, but
Right.
they put a quota on these guys. So they have to, if they're not 100 violent criminals in an area, they will just take anybody they can. So they'll take people with a DUI that's 10 years old. They'll take
But if
someone
they're
who
illegal, then
kind of
I don't get it. What are you talking about? Like you were saying, somebody lived here for like 15 years and they had a family. What difference does that make?
That's not violent crime. So
You know what? I'm going to tell you something that you may not want to hear, but people like me, they want all of them gone. Every single one of them. It's not about making quota. It's about exceeding quota. The people that equate what's happening right now to Nazi Germany. That's who.
Well, the Nazi Germany, they wanted to get rid of the Jews. They wanted to get rid of the Gypsies. They wanted to get rid of all the foreigners. No, you're saying you want all the foreigners out of the country. How is that
Absolutely.
different?
Absolutely.
1930, you want all the foreigners out?
Exactly. No. Anyone that's here illegally should be deported. I don't care if you've been here 15 years or you've been here for 15 minutes.
I don't think people are going to have acceptance. And they're going to treat like the boiling water and the frogs in.
Frog in the boiling water, yeah.
Yeah, and until it's I mean they're saying that white women are now the enemy. They're like creating all these enemies.
They're not the enemy. A lack of common sense is.
They're making labels on that's how you like create this divisive kind of mindset.
Do you create division by calling people Nazis?
Well, you can call
them other people communists.
Yeah, I mean,
call them fascists.
yeah.
They
You can say fascist. Who is it? Let me ask you something.
the demonizing of the gays, the trans.
I've not seen. What are you talking about demonizing?
They put them in concentration camps. Yep.
You serious? I think it's funny. You really sit here. You really believe that there's like a big fascist coming. I said. So let me ask you this. Like, all seriousness aside, what do you guys think? Like, what do you guys speak? I'd like to know what you think. Like all of the arguing aside, I would just like to ask.
Social engineering.
Yep.
And they're doing it in a very, just like harnessing tribalism, which is kind of like the oldest political trick in the book. Us versus them.
Yeah, I know, and that's why I don't like.
Deutschland for the Germans, Germans for the Germans. So they considered Jews not to be the same race, and they booted them out. They considered gypsies not to be the same race.
Yeah, but illegal immigrant is not a race. I'm sorry, it's not.
Because if it wasn't like Americans discovering these concentration camps, maybe the Nazis wouldn't have, they would have gotten away with it. Nobody would have known what was going on until.
Yeah, well, we did. So what's your point?
You've got the demonization of the press.
The press is complicit in misinformation. Yes, they are. That's why nobody watches the mainstream media anymore.
Well, people still
So
watch Fox, even though they have Fox Live. Fox has gotten away.
I don't watch Fox. I don't watch any of the major networks. I don't think a lot of people really do anymore. A lot of people get their news curated from sources.
Well, yeah, they get it from algorithms and their friends.
Yeah.
So
We
there are
can't read what Trump says, and we do read what people say, what his supporters say on social media, and that is enough to get an idea of where you want to.
So
Everything,
I just
um,
like let's just I just would like to hear from you guys. Like realistically,
No media has to, no third party has to convince me of where they want to go. It's basically out of the horse's mouth.
and
well, also,
I
you know,
have a master's,
consider
I have a master's degree too from a major university, and I tell you that I don't know where you're getting the whole Chinese curriculum bullshit, but
you can Google it. It's under Harvard.
no,
Okay,
it's
look, we're not going to
absolutely
agree on a lot of stuff, but just let me ask you this: do you think that like the next step is like that Trump would like not have an election? Is that where you're going with this?
he's trying. Yeah, I think he'll
I
do
don't,
that.
I don't think that'll happen. I think he will.
He's setting it up.
You'll see a huge turnout of police, right? There'll be a lot of security to it that will scare a lot of people away. But I don't think they'll stop elections. Mind you,
I don't think having armed officers or police officers should scare anyone away. It should make them more apt to be able to vote when they're free from intimidation. I mean,
That's
can't we
true.
agree on that?
but when you have the police and ICE doing the intimidation, right?
It's not intimidation. If you're here illegally, then you have a right to be intimidated because you shouldn't be here.
Well,
Okay?
in order to intimidate a handful of people, they're intimidating everybody.
You can't be intimidated unless someone asks you to be. That you let yourself be intimidated. There's nothing intimidating to me at all about law enforcement because I don't break crimes and I'm not illegal.
Because you're an old white
Find
dude.
the crime, you.
I used to
Thank
do
you.
that.
Thank you.
That's the thing. Why would they be at voting places? Illegals aren't voting. So why are they there?
I don't. They're probably to protect against a lot of lunatics that we've seen on TV trying to get into cops' faces and things. They have to maintain order, and whoever has to be there to do it is going to be law enforcement, ICE, National Guard, depending on the circumstances.
During elections, you're not allowed to do any politicking within a certain number of.
Why is it a problem if no illegals are going to vote?
They're not voting.
Right. So then, what is it? What is the problem with ICE being at the voting polls? Who are they intimidating? Thank you.